Okay, cool. People can hear me okay? Fantastic. Some people with headphones, some people without. Okay, cool. Going to ask once, does anybody want to come down the front? We'll just fill up these front 2 rows, make it really seminary. Yeah? Let's do that. There we go. 10 points to Gryffindor for being in the front row already. Okay, fab. So just very, very quickly, before we kick into every lie they told you about marketing your brand and why they did it, very quickly a little bit about me. So here's me and my family. You can just see the most important member. Is there a laser on this? Don't know. That's Barnes the Beagle. He's the most important member of the family, and then that's my wife and daughter. I'm currently the head of marketing at a Glasgow-based startup called Brillband. And we are disrupting the broadband industry, the whole host of amazing reasons and why. And we've got a stand over there, which you can learn more about if you want to come by. Before that, I was the global head of social and advocacy at Charlotte Tilbury. And before that, I was the UK head of comms for Yves Saint Laurent Beauty. So a bit of a jump going from cosmetics into telecoms. But that's all good. And the side hustle, I am the host of a podcast called XY, where we interview men about their mental health. And I'm the founder of 136 Fitness, which is a free personal training program that anybody can take advantage of. It's meal planning and all the rest of it. It's good fun. Anyway, so this is going to be a series of lessons that I've learned over the past decade of working in marketing. If you work in marketing, then hopefully some of these will be, good, it's not just me. If you don't work in marketing, then this will hopefully help you speak to marketeers and avoid some pitfalls along the way. Okay, so number 1 is going viral. Absolutely stop trying to go viral. I've never worked somewhere where I've not either had a client or a manager or a boss say, I really want to shoot a viral video, or I want to create a viral piece of content, or we should go viral. That's not how it works. No brand on the planet can just go viral. You need to lean into creating content that people actually want to see and listen to and care about, and you might go viral off the back of that. Okay, but going viral is never the objective, right? And if you do want to kind of get into why that's important to remember, and why you should drop that from your vocabulary, there's an amazing podcast on Paper Magazine Breaking the Internet, so that really famous Kim Kardashian photo of the champagne popping and landing on her bum. It talks about how the digital team at Paper and their publisher scaled up all their Amazon Web Services to cater for this massive increased demand that the website was going to get, and then nobody went to their website on launch day because everybody was looking at it on Instagram. So even with the best planning in the world, virality is not something you can account for. So just stop trying. And then also there's some fabulous stuff on TED, especially one about what makes a movement, and how your kind of first adopter is actually not the person that makes something go viral, but your second adopter almost legitimizes it as a movement. So check those out. We only have 20 minutes today. But you should do your homework there. And I'm going to pop this whole thing on my LinkedIn later if you do want to check it out. Number 2, or kind of a 1.5, this is a bit of a personal rant, but listen to your PR person. Having worked through the spectrum of Marcom, so PR, events, marketing, design, digital, all the bits, listen to your PR person. Your PR person, whether it's an agency or in-house, is probably someone who shits on your ideas 99.999% of the time. They often get called the Negi Nora of the team or whatever the case may be, but they will have seen it before, they've been there, done it, and 9 times out of 10 your PR person is in fact correct. And if they're telling you it's a bad idea, it's not because they're trying to drag down your enthusiasm, they just know it's not going to activate the way you want it to activate. So 1.5, personal gripe. 2, stop reading those influencer articles. There is a plethora of reading material that you can find out there on this skincare brand went viral and sold £1 million worth of product in a day from this TikTok video. And hey, maybe they did. But experience has taught me that those articles are very misleading and not true. That £1 million sale will be the product of a very big media buy that was through the line on TV, billboards, radio. Yes, influencer will have been a part of that, but it'll have been a much broader activation than just one viral video on TikTok that sold £1 million. And again, this is another one that managers, MDs, marketing directors, they'll see it on Mashable or Adweek or whatever and bring it into work for a team stand-up and go, hey, did you see this? Like, why can't we do that? And it's problematic at best, and it doesn't look at the whole Marcom mix. You know, nothing sells out overnight. There's no overnight success. Disruption is not a replacement for distribution. This is so important, and I bash this into anyone who'll listen. You know, I love talking about this. Disruption's such a dirty word. Like every startup and brand under the sun is talking about how they can disrupt their market and be more disruptive and edgy and nimble and agile. And these words, more often than not, are used instead of investing money and time in practices which are actually going to build your brand. My favorite example of this is if you look at someone like Brewdog, who's so disruptive and they broke the beer industry, and whatever you want to say about James Watt, like the brand is incredibly successful and did disrupt the beer market, right? But when they were putting up videos on YouTube and Instagram of them blowing up like Heineken and all the rest of it, they were also stocked in thousands and thousands of Tesco stores around the country. So their massive success was not because they were uploading fun little videos on YouTube, it was because the distribution model that they had behind the scenes was prolific throughout the country. You know, like the product timing and distribution always trumps your fun little bit of video content. Now that's not to say don't do it, because that's your swing state, right? That's your voters that are on the fence about you versus someone else, but don't rely on a fun TikTok to kind of launch your business, yeah? Okay, my wife pointed out to me last night that that's not how you spell Kool-Aid, but we're not in America, so that's allowed. Stop drinking your Kool-Aid. Nobody cares about your brand. Absolutely nobody, bar you and your team. Yeah, like my favorite brand is Nike. After that, it's probably Apple. If they were hosting an event on Saturday night, I'm probably not going. I have things to do, you know? Like, people don't care about your product or your brand the same way you do. And that's fine. You should care about it. It's your baby. You created it, or you work there, and that's fantastic. But in the best way possible, know your place, right? You slot into somebody's life at the right time when they want to purchase you or engage with you or download you. And that's your sweet spot. I want to engage with Nike when there's a new pair of shoes out and I want to go running and I want to buy those shoes. I don't need them to do everything all at once for me, yeah? So it's good that you're the most passionate advocate of your brand, because if you're not, who is? But also understand that not everyone's going to want to hear from you all day long, every day. And working out how you slot into someone's life is super important, yeah? Don't think that you are ubiquitous to the market. Okay. Idea and execution, right? Super important. If you work at an agency, you've probably come across the difference between the two before. An idea, as Johnny Ives of Apple would say, is super fragile and should be protected at all costs, right? So anybody in a team can come up with an idea, and that idea could be big, it could be small. Ideas don't have budgets associated with them. Ideas don't have timings. They don't have distribution. An idea is just an idea, you know, like think big. When they zig, we zag. These are creative concepts that Adland come up with, and they can be nourished and developed and chewed out over a cup of coffee or a pint or whatever the case may be, right? And we should roll with those and encourage our teams to talk about these things more. Executions can be wrong, and execution can be really bad. You can take a great idea and execute it horrifically. And this kind of jumps back to my 1.5 point of trust your PR person, because if they're shitting all over your execution, that doesn't mean your idea is bad. You might have a great creative platform, an awesome narrative that could grow and turn into something, but the execution is not the idea, yeah? And distinguishing those two when you're having marketing meetings is the most vital thing that you can do when you're setting up those cross-collaborative sessions with team members, okay? Agencies are awesome, right? And here's the epitaph of every MD over the last few years has been, let's move this in-house. We should get this creative team in-house. And agreed, we should have as much in-house resource as possible. But I mean, and this is personal opinion, I would say from an executional point of view, in-house is fab, right? Because it means that you can act quickly and respond quickly, and you've got somebody on your right and left that you can work with to turn things on and off. Paid media, for example. Great, have that in-house. That doesn't mean that everything should be in-house, yeah? And actually, agencies can do something which you can't do, which is never drink your Kool-Aid. Agencies do good work because you pay them. And if they stop doing good work, well, then you won't pay them anymore. So they, by virtue of the commercial model of an agency, need to keep coming up with innovation and good ideas. They also probably don't just work on your brand. So they maybe work on a skincare brand and a tires brand and a drinks brand and a restaurant and a tech brand, which means that they get the market view and landscape view in a way that you can't. And they also don't care about you. They don't care about your success. They care about their success, which is a good thing because they want to come up with great campaigns and ideas which are going to push you forward and ergo them, so they have better creds in their deck. I'm a huge fan of working with agencies. They dilute the linear thinking that you often get in-house, and they dilute the back patting, where everyone's like, great, this was great, we're great, you're great, we did a great thing today. They're very good at coming in and challenging your assessment of a launch or an activation, okay? And because it's important, here's some Scottish teams that I would back to the hilt on any kind of activation. So two galas, whether it's Glasgow, the UK, the world, the universe, are doing some of the most exciting things in terms of graphic design, brand identity, and 3D content generation. Honestly, come and find me later and we'll have a game of 3D, not 3D, and I'll show you some photos which are not photos. They've been rendered on a computer by some truly incredible talent. I absolutely love these guys, would work with them on any kind of content production. Story Shop, Glasgow-based PR, comms agency. Every agency's cred deck says that they're there to bridge the gap between in-house and agency. These guys are actually doing it. I love working with them. There's no kind of typical account manager, account handler structure. Everybody's very pitch in, suck it and see. And for at least us at our size, that really, really works for us as a startup. They come out with great ideas and they've yet to be given a brief that they can't help facilitate. I would call them an agency of note, somebody that is an ideas sounding board and very much falls into this bucket of we don't need to have that in-house. They're a great sounding board for us creatively. And then Shaka Social, video first social media agency. More often than not, agencies that do social content production only do that because they can't do TV content production. They've never quite worked out how to do like above the line media. Whereas these guys do know how to do that. And actually one of their co-founders, Ali, go for a pound with him, ask him about Star Wars. He worked with the director on the third one from the last drop, on the Tatooine base. So he's kind of seen it all. He's really worked his way through the film industry from top to bottom and chose to work in social content production. And that's what you want. If you're working with people to create your social assets, they should be there because they know how to do social, not because they couldn't do TV. Yeah? Okay. Do the work. So a little bit of like circling back on what we've discussed. There's no way to shortcut it, you know? Like I think, especially with marketing and PR, we sometimes should take a better like note of our colleagues in operations and commercial and finance, because you can't shortcut this stuff. And I know I've just talked about great ideas and all the rest of it, but a great idea, even with the best execution, is only going to build a successful brand campaign when you do it again and again and again. And having really awesome, innovative ideas is important, and we should protect that and we should push the conversation forward. But actually, the day-to-day stuff is what's going to make you successful. You know, it's the social media intern who's writing your tweets, it's the account managers at your agency who are writing reports that allow you to analyze data. Like, I know you know this, but that's the stuff that will push your brand forward. And then on top of that, sprinkle some innovation. Lil Nas X, you may or may not be a fan of his music, but you should Google how he launched himself as a musician. The man is a marketing genius, and everything that we've just discussed very much falls into him, about how he actually worked out that creating memes on Twitter was going to be the way that he got round the fact that nobody wanted to have a gay black man signed to their record label until he actually went viral on social media. And then, oh wait, now everyone's come calling, and he can kind of like mandate his terms. Don't have time today to go through the whole spiel of how he did it, but he's an absolute inspiration. Check him out. And in sum, guys, if I had to sum up my opinion on marketing, this would kind of be it. Like, virality is the lazy, disruptive unicorn you're chasing, while the next great brand is being built by someone who's genuinely disruptive by virtue of working hard and having a perspective on the world which is not that of a white English-speaking man. And I could probably put heterosexual white English-speaking man in there. And guess what? I'm the problem. I'm it. That's me, right? So hire more people that aren't like me, have more conversations with people that aren't like me, because it's the me's of the world that currently run marketing teams and agencies the world over, yeah? And we're the ones, like, we're the problem. We're the ones that are chasing that viral, disruptive unicorn. Like, how do we go viral? Like, I want to be the next Brewdog. I want to be the next Google. I want to be the next Apple. When in actual fact, behind the scenes, you have Lil Nas X, who's just grafting away, doing shit day in, day out, and creating that disruption quietly behind the scenes. So yeah, that's me. Contact info along the bottom there. Brillband, head of marketing there at the moment, as I said at the start. Personal email, drop me a WhatsApp if you want, or find me on Instagram at @Ian_player. But thanks so much for your time. Any questions? What time are we at? Do I have time? Yeah, we do. We've got 5 minutes for questions. Does anyone have a question about any of the above? Now we good? Do we have a question, but we're just too shy? No, we don't have a question. Go for it. Yeah.
Like, what's been the most successful campaign that you've personally worked on?
That I've personally worked on. Way back when I just started an agency called Cult, we were doing social media for Chiquitos. Do you know that Tex-Mex restaurant? And it's awful. But they really trusted us with like doing stuff on social, and we launched their Snapchat for them at Halloween, and it was basically like sexy DMs from their Halloween cocktail menu. And basically, like, you snapped us like a saucy DM of you, and then one of their cheeky cocktails would like DM you back. And it sounds kind of shit, but back in the day, like it was kind of Snapchat had just kind of come out and all the rest of it, and it exploded. Like, I was working on Christmas Day, like replying to people, taking photos of like cocktail glasses to be like, oh, like come take a sip of me. Like it was all that kind of, and it went ballistically viral. And I guess like the follow-up to that question, whether you're going to ask it or not, is why did it go so well and got like so much engagement? I think it was because we went to where we knew our customer was and did something that they were already doing. Like the Chiquito user was on Snapchat at that point, and they were using Snapchat to like send saucy messages to people they fancied and all the rest of it, and sending sexy DMs and things. So it kind of just played directly into the jokes mentality of Snapchat. Hit me. Oh.
Awesome. Like, but how did you measure? Was it like a reach campaign, or was it brand engagement? Like, because obviously Chiquito conversion is sales, right?
Yeah, for sure. So from an awareness and reach point of view, it like decimated everything that they had on like Facebook, but organic reach there's crap anyway, so whatever. And it was way bigger than their Instagram in terms of a like bookended campaign on impressions and reach. But you are right. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that it became their top selling activation that they'd ever done. So about 80% of people that came through their London doors over the Halloween weekend had done the Snapchat thing, because we basically said, if you show us a snap that you've sent Chiquito, we'll give you 20% off the bill. So 80% of their entire traffic that made money was from that. So yeah, and we categorically did not expect the sales piece to follow there. Like, this was very much put into Chiquito as, this is a fun channel strategy activation. It's a bit like silly and fun. We can engage like new people, new audiences, blah, blah, blah. The fact that it drove commerce for the business was like such an added bonus. Yeah, man. Always takes one question, then everyone,
we're in.
For you.
Well, yeah, but that's actually leading on from what you said with your answer. Just gave you a wee follow there, so
thanks,
Instagram.
Buddy. That'll be the wee vibration of my pocket.
I've got I run a private tuition company. So see, when just was something you literally said there about organic reach, right? On Facebook. So see if it says when I do a post 1,100 post reach, what does that mean? What is reach?
It's a good question. So it varies channel to channel, but as like a general rule of thumb, reach is a unique person seeing that content, and an impression is a unique view of that content. So if there's like 2 people in a room and I show you a post, that has a reach of 2. But if you were both to look at it twice, well, then its impressions are 4. It's been seen 4 times total, but it's reached 2 individuals.
Okay.
Yeah? Yeah.
So,
and if you have 1,100 organic reach on Facebook, you're doing something really well. So keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah, like, organic reach on Facebook is like super dead. You know, like nobody's getting any traction there.
Right. Thanks. Cheers.
Hey.
You said you'd worked both in-house and agency side. Mm-hmm. Which of the two do you feel like you've had most success in campaigns with? And is it due to the flexibility of being an agency side, or is it due to the ability of in-house kind of funds being a wee bit easier to get sometimes?
It's maybe like a bit of a lazy answer, but it's the best campaigns I've ever ran have been in-house. But I think that's more by virtue of the stage I was at in my career by the time I got in-house, right? So I think that once you're in like head of positions, you're in a position to really affect the narrative of a campaign, drive the vision forward, all the rest of it. Whereas at agency, I was sending dirty cocktail snaps for Chiquitos, which was having an impact, but it's hard to like maybe compare that to like a Calvin Klein launch or something like that, you know. I would say that even though the work that we did in-house was like of a bigger and more successful scale, it was by virtue of the teams that we were working with in a third-party capacity. And I think that something that in-house teams maybe forget is that your job should be to like keep your eye on the market. Like, who's the cool photographer? It's something that magazines do really well. Like beauty editors and fashion editors really get that their job is on the line every issue, and they only get to show up next month if they're working. Who's the young cool creative photographer in town who's doing something fun? Like who's the artist? Who's the makeup artist? Who's the stylist? Like, work with cool people. It doesn't need to be a big agency. When I say agency, actually, it's a really good one to flag. It can just be like a freelancer, a young creative. Like, find someone that's doing something different and work out how they can do it for you, you know? So I hope that helps. It's a bit of a, not a very great like answer.
Do you think that TikTok could take over from Google in terms of search?
So it has, in terms of total search volume. It's the number one search engine on the planet, but I don't think it'll take over from, what's the word? Yeah, and there's no truthfulness to that statement, right? So like TikTok has more active searches on it than Google, fine. Which I guess inherently means it's a bigger search engine. But I don't TikTok things, like I Google things, you know? Like it's the, from commercially. No idea. What a great question. Commercially, do I think that TikTok will take over from Google as like an ads platform?
Sorry, thanks. And for actually driving conversions, you know, because there's one thing that TikTok you would think of, oh, okay, TikTok will be great for fashion brands, etc.
Yeah.
But, you know, for more corporate businesses, do you think it would ever come to that, you know, for surveyors or
I don't know.
things?
I think on a bookended campaign basis, yeah. I would probably say, like, so I'm launching this aftershave. I'm going to put X amount of money into a conversion campaign on TikTok versus X amount of money into a conversion campaign on Google. Yes, I do think that if TikTok's not already getting there with that, they will probably outstrip Google on that bookended front pretty soon. I think there's like a zeitgeist element that Google has where they're local and kind of things just pop up. For example, like I'm out of porridge, so I Google like porridge shop. I would never put that into like TikTok, but actually porridge shop I would put into Google because like I guarantee you that their algorithm does know where sells porridge within a 5-minute walk of me, and it will show up Sainsbury's because it's somewhere in that algorithm the word porridge exists. I presume. I don't do coding, so maybe it doesn't, but however they work it out, they do. So yeah, at a kind of osmosis level, I think Google will always have that blanket coverage, but I think you're right if you think the same as me. the campaign. Do you know? So what do you do?
I run a digital marketing agency.
Oh, cool. Which one?
It's called GRA.
Oh,
I was
cool.
annoyed it wasn't up there, to be honest with
Sorry,
you.
guys. Oh, they must have slipped off the end. No, cool. What, do you think it will?
I really hope not.
But do you think it will?
I think it will be great for a certain audience that's on TikTok.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will take away from Google for the kind of more corporate side of things.
Yeah.
I think there'll still be an audience that will go to Google for professional services. I don't think you'll ever go near TikTok for lawyers, for home reports,
Yeah.
for anything like that. But I think it's definitely got that kind of fun e-com.
I think there's. I agree. I think there's like a
market.
stickiness to channels as well. Like to run with the virality moniker. Kind of grim, but like a virus like Ebola burns out because it's so deadly that it actually kills people quicker than it can spread, right? And I think TikTok's kind of like that. It's so viral, like it's so hot, but I think it'll burn out before it reaches my mum, you know?
Yeah.
I think it'll kind of have its thing and maybe it's around for a decade, which would be awesome, but will inherently like fizzle. Whereas I think Google's more of like that meta Facebook thing where it's not the coolest, but will just continue in perpetuity and until it, I don't know, joins Ask Jeeves in the search engine graveyards, you know?
Yeah. And Bing.
And Bing. I'm a big fan of Bing. Okay, I think we probably have run out of time, but is there any more questions? No, we good? Well, I'm standing over there with my boss, Duncan, who can tell you more than I told you in this talk about Brillband and the awesome stuff we're doing. But we're just behind the Barclays Eagle Labs thing. So if you have any questions or want to chat about this or anything else, come get me. Cheers, man.